Hey guys, it's me, Lawrence. I wanted to go over how I edit my photos, and so I wanted to show you a few things from behind the scenes on how to edit. So we'll start with this image, one of my most recent images. I know I got a request from Laura Jane about how I expand the image and what I do at the beginning to edit this photo, and so I just want to walk you through that real briefly. So we'll start with the original. This is the original photo that I took. You can see my messy apartment, all the objects in it. So one of the first things I want to do is get rid of the distracting things in this image. So that could be this cap that goes to my camera, or this bin, or this stand. And usually I try to get rid of those distractions before I even take the image, but in this case I didn't. And so luckily Photoshop has some tools for that. So the first tool that I want to go to is this spot healing tool. This comes in handy a lot. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as I want it to, but in most cases it does. So as you can see, you just highlight or mark the spots that you want Photoshop to get rid of. And what this does is it takes what's around the image and puts it to where you marked it. So like the carpet around what I just marked is now filled in here, and it got rid of that cap. And it's not perfect, but I'll show you a little bit later what happens or what I do to fix that. So next I want to just take out this stand, my light stand. And we could see that it didn't take it out perfectly. Like there's a harsh line right here. And so sometimes I go over it again to see if whoops, nope, that didn't work. Sometimes I'll try to go over it again, maybe try a smaller brush size, just to get rid of it, to see if the healing brush will get rid of it. But sometimes it doesn't, like in this case. But I'm not gonna worry about it too much right now because I'm gonna show you another technique here in just a second. But I can get rid of things like this, like the light switch back here and the cord. Let's see if we can get rid of this bin and my reflector. Okay, perfect. So Photoshop did a pretty good job at that. And then I can even try to get rid of this umbrella up here. Okay, that doesn't look so great, but that's okay. Try it again. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. Another tool I'll use, and I'll show you this in a second. Oh, perfect, that looks great. Is the clone stamp tool, which allows you to copy a part of the image and then paste it onto another part of the image. And I use that as well to clean up the image. So as you can see, I've cleaned up the image quite a bit. I've got rid of the big things that were distracting. So the next thing I want to do is I usually work on my compositing. So I want to see how big I want this image, where do I want to be placed in the image. I like how I'm centered right now and I want to keep that, but I feel like I want more space on the right and on the left. So I'll just simply go into the crop tool and drag it out like this until I find a good size that I want, and I'll center myself right here. Center my body / chair or whatever I'm sitting on, so that I'm centered in the photo. Then just click enter. Okay, I'm gonna fix the left side a little bit. Okay, that looks a little bit more even to me. The next thing I do, and this is a trick that I've learned, is if you go up here to this rectangular marquee tool, what you can do is you can select part of the image. So what I do is I select this side of the image and you hit Control T, which stands for transform. And I'm on a PC, by the way. And then you can drag this out all the way to the edge. And so this is what's called expanding the image. And so I've simply just dragged the pixels that were right here that I selected all the way to the edge of the photo. Now I will make a note that by doing this, you are stretching the image and it will not be as high quality because you're stretching those pixels. However, I will tell you that it doesn't matter in my case most of the time, because I recognize and I realize that in the future I'm going to put textures all over this wall and on the floor, or replace the floor with water like I've done in this image. And so honestly, you won't even know or even recognize that this image has been stretched in the first place by the end, because I put so many layers over it and so many textures to cover it up and to create the image that I've wanted to create. So I've done that to that side. So let's do it to the other side. And so I'll just go like this, Control T, drag that over just like that, right there. And then Control D is deselect, so I can get rid of that box. So there you go. So I've expanded the image on both sides. So now I have a good composition that I like. In this particular image, I do remember expanding this bottom section as well. I liked how the carpet is kind of going off to the right here, and it's kind of warped to the left, but I kind of want it to warp down as well. So let's see if I can do that and how it'll look. So again, just the same, there we go. Just kind of drag it out like that. Just the same process as I did before on the sides. So it kind of gives the image actually a different feel. It kind of looks like I'm on a cliff almost, or that I have a different perspective of the camera down here, down below, looking up at me. And again, I don't really mind that it's all kind of blurry in some spots and that it's not the best, because I recognize that later on I'm just going to add an image over it anyway, and that image will be a lot clearer. So those are the first steps of editing a photo. I mainly use the spot healing tool, which I showed you at the beginning, and then I expand the image. And luckily I can do that with a white wall behind me, and it doesn't look too bad. And like I said, I add textures onto it later. And then one more tool I'll show you really quick is this clone stamp tool that I use a lot. And that helps me get rid of kind of the harsh lines that are from my flash that reflect onto the wall. So I do remember getting rid of this when I edited this photo. And simply, you kind of grab, let's see if I can get this right. You grab a section of the image by holding down Alt, and then you can copy that over just like that. Now, sometimes with a harsh line, you'll get kind of a, I'll show you really quick. You'll kind of get you'll kind of copy the harsh line just over, and that's what you want to avoid. Sometimes to avoid that, I change the opacity to 50%, so that when I'm copying this side of the image onto that, it's more like blending it together instead of copying 100% over. And then I'll just kind of take it, you know, pieces from the image, so from up here down here, and just kind of work my way up. It's not going to be perfect. Again, knowing that I will be putting textures over this image so that those things won't be as noticed. But if I want to get rid of stuff like this very harsh line down here, I definitely want to use the clone stamp tool, and I do use it at 50%. Sometimes I click once, sometimes I click about 2 times, maybe even 3 times, just to kind of get a nice blur or blend into that. And then you can actually go back to the spot healing tool again, and this time it'll help get rid of like the soft hard lines that you've created, and create more of a faded look, I guess, more of a blended look. So those are some of the tips that I have and some of the tools that I use. Again, this isn't perfect, but that's the main process that I go through. And then the next step is just compositing. And so bringing in images such as the rock that I took a picture of the other day and I cut out, and I literally copy and pasted it into this image. And then I actually copied this rock again and just flipped it and then squished it. So these two rocks are the exact same image. One's just smushed and flipped, and the other one is not. And so that would be my next step in this process, and that would help me get rid of like this pillow on the ground because I covered it up, or the chair that I'm sitting on because I'm covering it up with a rock. So yeah, that is the basic intro to my editing process. I hope that's helped. If you have any questions, please comment or leave me a message, and I can help you walk through any step or process again, or answer any questions that you may have. Again, thanks Laura Jane for the suggestion on creating a photo from the beginning and learning the process of the beginning steps. I hope that helps. And I plan on creating more videos in the future, so stay tuned as I create more photos and create more tutorial videos so that you guys can see kind of my behind the scenes work. Thanks for watching. Bye.